crawl to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin, dog dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise, crystal chandeliers, smoke is reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving and grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near, stay there. Remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose.
Yes, we do. We manifest dreams on the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and we're coming to you from one of my favorite places. You can see I just got that fresh fade from my boy Keith over there. Of course, we're at Cutting Up Barbershop and Salon. I like the way that sounds, Cutting Up Barbershop and Salon. I like that logo, Keith. I didn't even know you had that until I went online. But anyway, they're at 35 Northeast 36, just east of the 7-Eleven right there on Santa Fe. You can call for an appointment at 405-524-6100. That's 405-524-6100. Of course, they're closed Sundays and Mondays, but you can come Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Now, Saturdays is really 9 to 4. They're not really out here after 3 or 4 o'clock, to be honest with you. I probably need to really go ahead and change that because they're really not. They're really not here, to be honest with you. They're really not here. But if you want to take a chance and call and you offer enough money, who knows? They may stay for you, brother. Just holler at them. Then, of course, I'm talking about Keith, Lee, Sean, Chris, and our girl Allison that's in the back there. If you need braids or you need extensions or anything like that, she is the lady. Back when I had braids for those year and a half, she did my braids every other week, come in and get my hair cut and do my braids on top of that. So I highly recommend Cutting Up. It's a great place, great atmosphere. We have some great sports discussions. And normally I'm here on Fridays, but today is my last day of really work, and so I'm really off to the 27th. So I'm going to go to Sunset Serenade tonight, try to talk Sean maybe into coming and hanging out a little bit with me at Sunset Serenade tonight at the Omni Hotel. If you haven't been there, it's a great place. And, of course, you've got Bob's Steakhouse down below the pool and all that. So it's a great place. I've yet been to the pool. I've yet to go to Bob's. I go to Bob's. I've spent many times at Bob's in Dallas for my birthday, but I've yet to go to Bob's here in Oklahoma City. And my guy Randy Wright at Y&B was like, he highly recommends it. And he is a steak aficionado like myself. You know, I like a good steak. Just saying. I like a good steak. And he says they got a good one. So I'm going to have to go in. If I can ever find a date or somebody can take, I will go in there. But I have yet to find someone to take with me. I guess I could always take the bestie, Jennifer Falkenstein. I guess I could always take her, but I'm pretty sure she's probably already been. So that being said, let's jump right into the NFL news. Deshaun Watson, 11 games and $5 million. And that's not a $5. That's $5 million. I don't have to put meal down there. You already know the NFL, the NBA, and baseball, we ain't talking about dollars. We talking about millions when we put it down there. So, anyway, suspended for 11 games. Here, they originally gave him 6 with a $500,000 suspension. He came back and said, y'all upset. The NFL is going to appeal. Let's do 8 games and 5. And what the NFL found, the NFL wanted 12 or a full season, and they ended up getting 11 games and $5 million, which is about right. I thought he would get 10 games, 8 to 10 games is kind of what I thought. Originally thought 8. I said, okay, 10 games, that'd be right. But, of course, the 11th game is against guess who? Tom Brady. And is the NFL going to let Deshaun Watson, that woman, whatever, beat their golden boy Tom Brady? No, they aren't going to do that. So his first game back, ironically, is against the Texans. How about that? At Houston. How much fun is that going to be? And, of course, the fines include, or the suspension includes, professional evaluation and a treatment plan. And we all know that if you've been around, if you got family members hooked on drugs, treatment plans mean absolutely nothing if they're not committed and believe in it, it's a waste of time. So hopefully Deshaun would have learned his lesson, and 5 million reasons is a good way to look at it. Now, the funny thing is, it's not funny, but it goes to the total loss will be $632,000 compared to 342 that he would originally lost, and that he's eligible for turn November 28th. Like I said, just in time to play against the Houstons. He'll be eligible that Monday or that Sunday, I guess it is, or it's Monday, and they play the Texans that Saturday. And I'm sure he'll be chopping at the bit. And ironically, what the NFL did is they still allowed him to play because his suspension doesn't start to the 30th. So he's going to get to stay with the team all through preseason, which I think is a gift in some ways simply because, hey, I get to be with you guys all during the training season, all during preseason. He's got kind of rapport with the offensive line. The center kind of knows how he likes it. He knows where the receivers like the ball, running backs have the ball. Now, it's going to take him a couple weeks to get in there, but if Jacoby Brissett does what he needs to do, the Cleveland Browns could be okay. We should have put their schedule up here, but, of course, today is Thunder Thursdays, and we're going to focus on the Thunder schedule, not what's happening here. But that being said, we did have the Cleveland Browns schedule up, and we saw those first 6 games. Cleveland could go 3-3 or 4-2 really easily. And you got to figure if they go 4-2, they've got a tough stretch in there. Deshaun comes back after week 11. They could easily be 6-5 or 5-6 or even 7-4, depending on how they play, because they have a really, really good defense. They've got one of the best offensive line in pro football, if not the best. They've got one of the best running games in pro football, if not the best. So they can do some things depending on how well Jacoby Brissett plays, or they can always go, now that they know the situation, you can go get Jimmy Garoppolo. Why would you go get Jimmy G? So there's different options or different ways that the Browns can go now that they know what the suspension is. But, of course, you still can go with Jacoby Brissett, who's not a bad backup. He played pretty well last year for the Colts. So, I mean, it's not like he sucks or anything. He's just not a starting quarterback. But not having any pressure, knowing that Deshaun's coming, and all he has to do is keep the ship upright. Hey, he may do something good. How about if they're 7-4 when Deshaun comes back? What do? Do you take Jacoby Brissett out? What if they're 8-3? Do you take Jacoby Brissett out? I don't foresee them being 8-3. Don't get me wrong, but if they're 7-4, what do you do? Do you keep him in? If they're 8-3, what do you do? So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but Deshaun is clearly better than Jacoby Brissett. So to me, I'm going to take Jacoby out. I'm going to put Deshaun in. It's against the Texans. If you could talk about a game for him to get healthy, and he's pissed off, and he wants to kill the Texans, that would be a game to give him some confidence to get them back. So NFL kind of slapped him a little bit, but yet on the other side of it, they kind of helped him as well. They could have really slammed the door on him if they really, really wanted to, but the NFLPA did threaten to sue, and this would have been a whole year deal. And let's face it, the Shield does not like that. Now, of course, this is Thunder Thursday, and what we're going to do is we're going to break down the Thunder season. We're going to break down the Thunder news. But to start out, let's talk about the Thunder news. The Thunder, they're going to play their 15th consecutive New Year's Eve game against the Sixers. Do you go? Have you been to any of the games, Sean? New Year's Eve? What about you? Hey, have you been to any of the Keith? Have you been to any of the New Year's Eve games for the Thunder? Well, I know that the Thunder, they'll play the 15th year in a row. And I went to the first couple, 2 or 3. I went to some of them. And then after that, it's kind of like, I stopped. I would go out of town. I'd go to Dallas. I'd go to Houston. I'd go to Kansas City. I'd always go somewhere for New Year's Eve to be outside of Oklahoma. But on the other side of that, playing for the Thunder, playing at home again, is a good deal because it's a fun night. Downtown is fun. You can take your kids to the game. There's several things that you can do. The game's usually at 7 o'clock, so it's done around 9:15, 9:20-ish, which gives you a chance, plenty of time to get out and about and to hang out downtown Oklahoma City to see the fireworks and everything. So it is a really good show down there, but I'd prefer to be doing a lot of other things myself, but that's just me. But I do plan on going to watch the Thunder. Last year we missed them 2 years ago. Remember, we were the only NBA team that did not have our team come back after the All Star break that didn't allow fans. I think it killed the Thunder as far as communication with their fans. I think it hurt them as far as perception, but I still believe that they were catering to a small group of people who spent a lot of money who did not want to see the kneeling and all the protests by the Thunder players who were against social justice and the things that were going on. I don't believe that the management here in Oklahoma City wanted anything to do with that. That's why they really did not let the fans back in. There's nothing they can do to tell me that that's not the truth, because why did every other team do it except ours? It had nothing to do with all this other stuff. They just did not want to deal with those guys kneeling, and I know several people who I am no longer friends with. I'm acquaintances, and barely that. They're not even acquaintances, people I know. I speak to them. And that was the opinion that they had. They did not want to see that, and those are the group of people that I really don't really hang out with anymore because of that. And my thing is this: either you thought what happened was wrong and you're against it, or you're not, and they weren't. So that's kind of how I feel about it right now. And but anyway, the Thunder came back last year. I know if I didn't want to go watch, I went and watched, and I was like, hey, I like this. I really like what's going on. I like what they're doing. So I really liked what was happening with the team. And it's so funny is my guy Mark Long and I were talking last night. It's funny how at the beginning of the year, all the suite doors were closed. There weren't that many people there. At the end of the year, there were tons of people there. All the suite doors were open. People were coming. People were renting suites out again. And so I was really, really pleased to watch the transformation in the fans coming back and getting on board with the Thunder again. And part of this is playing in the fact that the Thunder need a new arena, and we've talked about that. And we're going to go into more detail about it next week, about the arena and why we do need one. So that being said, I'm looking forward to this year, what the Thunder are going to do. I think we're going to have a fantastic opportunity to do some things, and so I'm 100% excited about that. So this is a great time to take a break and to thank our sponsor, YNB, family-owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. And just remember, if you want to pre-qualify for any loans, you can qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com if you want to pre-qualify for some loans online. And we want to thank them for their sponsorship and allowing us to come into black, minority, and women-owned businesses throughout the city. And, of course, we are here at Cutting Up, which is 35 Northeast 36, just east of 36, and Santa Fe, just east of the 7-Eleven right there on the corner. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 8, 9 to 6. Saturdays is 9 to about 4. I need to change that. Then, of course, closed Sundays and Mondays. So if you want to come by and check those guys out, by all means do that. And then, of course, we have our additional sponsors at Collaborative Logic. If you have any IT needs, these are the people that you want to go to get your solutions for that. Also, SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, those are the peeps that you need to call. And then Oak Grove Trucking and my guy Jose Fierro and his dump trucks if you need some hauling off. And then Greg and Max Nafee at Nafco. Those are our peeps, and that's who are helping us stay open and alive. And then, of course, remember tonight is Sunset Serenade at the Omni. I highly suggest that if you don't have anything to do tonight, it's going to be a beautiful night. It's the perfect weather. It's going to be nice and cool. So I highly recommend you being able to go by and check out Sunset Serenade. So now, that being said, let's get into the Thunder schedule that was just released. What was released yesterday, as a matter of fact. And here's our first opponent. We open up at Minnesota Timberwolves at Denver. So those are our first two actual regular season games. Minnesota at Minnesota, that's going to be a tough one for us. to win. Remember, the Thunder over and under was 25 and a half. So that being said, let's go through the schedule now. I'm going to do wins and losses projected. And now that we know what the schedule is, you go loss to Minnesota, loss to Denver, and then we play Minnesota at home. I think we can get them here opening night. I think the Thunder do well. We have the Clippers here. That's another L. Then we go. That can't be right. We play the Clippers back-to-back on Tuesday, Thursday night. That doesn't seem right at all, but I need to go check that on another thing. But anyway, Clippers back-to-back. We can beat the Clippers. We can do that. So that's our first 6 games. I have us 3-3 after the first 6 games. Of course, then we have the Orlando Magic. I think we can get a W there. Excuse me, take that back. We play at the Mavericks. That's an L. We play them at home against Orlando. Denver, home. I think that's an L. Milwaukee, L. Detroit, L. Oh, no, we're going to give us a W there. So at that point, we're 5-6. That's kind of where I look at us at that point after Detroit. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, 11 after Milwaukee. Yep, 5-6. Versus Toronto at home, I'm going to give us a W there. At New York, I'm going to give us a W there. The Knicks are terrible. Boston, I'm going to give us an L. Let me see, Washington. At Washington, that could go either way for us. But I'm trying to get to the big win, so I'm going to give us a W right there. Okay, then Memphis Grizzlies, that's an L. Even though we played Memphis tough, I think that's going to be an L. Then the New York Knicks at home, I'm going to give us a W. Denver, I'm going to give us another L. Chicago Bulls at home. God, that's always a tough matchup for us. But new team, we're playing at home. I'm trying to give us some advantages. So we're 10-9 at that point. And then at Houston, that's a win. New Orleans Pelicans, after the first game after the Thanksgiving break at New Orleans, that's an L. So we are now 11-10. San Antonio at home, that's always a tough game, but they seem to outcoach us. That's an L. Minnesota, an L. Atlanta, an L. Memphis, an L. Cleveland, an L. So that's now 11-15. At Dallas, an L. At Miami, or home against Miami, an L. Minnesota at home. We played them well. I'm going to give us a W there. Memphis at home, I'm going to give us another L. Versus Portland, I'm going to give us a W. Portland again at home. Hard to beat a team back-to-back like that, so I'm going to give us an L there, even though I think we should beat them twice. New Orleans, L. San Antonio at home, I'm going to give us a W there. The Charlotte Hornets at Charlotte, an L. Philly on New Year's Eve, I'm going to give us an L there. So at this point, at the halfway mark, really, well, not the halfway, but close to the half mark, right at the end of this year, I have the Thunder at 14-22 at that point after that many games. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's not that bad. I think they were kind of nice to us, really, to be honest, when they gave us the schedule. I mean, they could have beat us up and been a lot more brutal to the Thunder, but I think that they did pretty good as far as what they gave us to work with. So I kind of like what the NBA did. But that's 14 games. That's only 11 more to get to that 25 and a half games. But anyway, at the end of the year, I'll have us at 14 and 22 after the end of the break. So coming on the next side of it, on the following schedule for the end of the year, we come back after the first. We're versus Boston. That's a L. Orlando at Orlando. I still think we can beat Orlando. I just don't have any confidence in them. Well, no, that's at Orlando. I'm gonna give us a loss there. Washington at home. That's a W. Dallas at home. We always play them well. We really do. But I'm gonna give us an L there. Miami at Miami. I'll give us a W at Dallas. Sorry. Loss at Miami. At Philly is a loss. At Chicago, a loss. Brooklyn at Brooklyn, a L. Indiana at home. I'm gonna give us a W there because we do play well here at the Paycom. We really do. So I'm giving us a W there. At Sacramento, I'm gonna give us another W. We play well against them. At Denver, an L. Versus Atlanta at home. Trey's coming back home. Whether he usually just blows us out of the water, so I'm gonna give us an L there. Versus Cleveland at home, I'm gonna be generous and give us a W. Golden State at here, that's an L. At Houston, I'm gonna give us a W. At Houston again, an L. Golden State Warriors, an L. At the Lakers, what do you think, Keith? L. L at the Lakers. Chris is yelling L at the Lakers. Then we have Portland Trailblazers at home. I'm gonna give us a W. Versus New Orleans Pelicans at home, L. Houston at home. I'm gonna give us another W. At Utah, I'm gonna give us a W. At Phoenix, L. At Sacramento, or home against Sacramento, W. Against Sacramento again, I don't think we can beat them twice. That's an L. The Lakers at home. Keith, can I give us a W on that? No. Another L. Utah at home, back to back. I'm gonna split that. Golden State at home, L. Phoenix away, L. New Orleans away, L. San Antonio away, W. Yep. Yep. At Brooklyn, against Brooklyn home, L. Toronto at Toronto, L. Phoenix, L. Dang, man. The Clippers at the Clippers back to back. I think we split that. Are you okay with that? Keith, you okay with splitting the Clippers? Oh, I'm not. I'm splitting that then just because you said that. At the Lakers, L. Portland at Portland, L. Charlotte at home, W. Detroit at home, W. At Indiana. At Phoenix, L. Golden State at Golden State, L. Utah at Utah. I'm gonna give us a W. And I'm gonna give us a W against Golden State too. And because that's the third 3 games left in the season, I don't know if they'll be playing everybody. Uh, and then Utah at Utah gave us a W, and then Memphis at home, W. So that's 27, 30. Wait, that's 27, 30, 40, 51 losses, and 31 wins. So I got us at 31 wins and 51 losses, Chris. That's where we got it. So no matter how I look at it, we'll go there. Hey, you know what we'll do? We'll take a break right here. And, huh? No, because I tried to give us some extra games in there. Okay. Now then we'll give you guys. We'll let you guys come. We're gonna take a break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll get your breakdown of what you think. Is that fair? Okay, we'll give you guys a breakdown. So that being said, we're going to take a quick break. Thank our guys at YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com, because without them, we would be not doing our remote live streams at Black women and minority-owned businesses in Oklahoma City. And, of course, we are at one of my favorite places. Just got my fresh cutting up, barbershop and salon, 35 Northeast 36th Street. You can call for appointments or information at 405-524-6100. They are closed on Sundays and Mondays, and then open Tuesday through Saturdays, 9 to 6. And usually, like I said, they're usually closed by 4 o'clock on Sunday. So now one of my biggest events and one of my funniest events is coming up. And if you guys don't know anything about it, you should. It's the JFK Awards, September 20th at 7 p.m. at the Oklahoma City Omni Hotel. Great place to go check out. Like I said, I haven't been there in a while, but it's a great place to go. We had a great time there at the event last year. The sports bar is fantastic. Really love going there. And then, of course, here are the honorees that they have this year. And for more information, you can call the Santa Fe Family Life Center at 405-840-1817. That's 405-1817 if you want more information about the awards and attending. And, of course, not to mention, the Wayman Tisdale Golf Tournament is coming up a week from Monday on the 29th. 8 a.m. start at the Hard Rock Casino, the Cherokee Golf Course. It's like I said, it's to benefit the Wayman Tisdale Foundation. What they do is they raise money and they pay for kids, or not kids, but adults who need prosthetics. If you remember, Wayman lost his lower leg, and he had a prosthetic leg, and so they do a great job of helping people who can't afford that. And you can find out more information about that at the Wayman Tisdale Foundation.org. That's www.waymantisdalefoundation.org. You can play individual sponsorships for $400 or on a team for $1,500 with 4 guys on it. So that being said, I've given my think of what I think the Thunder will do. And now cutting up, we're going to give Keith and Chris their opportunity to go through the list and see what they say and what they came up with. And I came up with 31 wins. 31 to 30, 32 to 35. Yes, that's what I came up with. And so we're going to see. We're going to go back over the schedule for you all who have been watching. You guys can go back over it if you got a chance to miss, and then you can kind of go back over it and take your own view of what you think the Thunder schedule, or how many games the Thunder will actually win. And I think that we're pretty. I mean, if you're being honest about it, the Thunder are right there about that many games. If you're going to really be honest about it, that's about where they are. So that's kind of how I look at it and kind of what I see. So are you guys ready? All right, here's the Thunder schedule, the first part of the Thunder schedule. We'll try to pull it up here. Chris is on a phone call? Okay. Well, we're going to give him a little break from that because he's got a phone call, but we're going to come back. But anyway, like I said, I have the Thunder over and under is 25 and a half. I predicted the Thunder 32 to 34 games. And then on the high side, if they really get going, that the Thunder could possibly win 40 games. And looking at the schedule, man, 40 games is going to be a stretch. I think that they can get it done, but it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for them to get that many W's. But 32 to 34 is kind of what we had thought that the Thunder would be. I've got us down at 31 and 51 after my first look, and that's just me, just off the top of my head, not studying. That's just me looking through it, going, okay, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and I hope you guys go through it too. But actually seeing the schedule and looking at it, and then these guys are getting ready to come back in just a second, so I'm going to pull it up. And when you really look at it, I don't know if I really like the teams playing back-to-back every other night. Kind of we started out with the Clippers at our place and then turn around and play them at their place. We do the same thing with Utah. I don't know if I really like that where, but I guess this is a West Coast team and it gives you the opportunity to play back-to-back and not have to travel. But, man, I just don't really like, you playing a team and then 2 days later you play them again. It's like the playoffs, I guess, but I don't know if I really like that. So are you ready? Yep. Hey, Chris, you ready? You ready? All right. Okay, here we go. At Minnesota. Loss for both of y'all?
Minnesota lost.
Okay, both of them got an L there. Denver Nuggets at Denver. Minnesota home. At home, at Thunder, at Paycom.
That's a loss. I think Minnesota's going to be really good.
See, I picked this as a win. First home game, opening night. Everybody going Thunder, Paycom being wild and crazy. So loss for both of y'all? I think a home game, first game, you got Chip. Everybody's going to be excited. I think the Thunder fans get them through. That's my opinion. But
I'll give him a win.
you still got a loss, Keith? Loss? Okay, win. Okay, now this one gets tough. The Clippers back-to-back home games. Dallas at Dallas. Orlando home. Denver home. What'd you have, Keith? Orlando home. Oh, we already said that. I'm sorry. Milwaukee at Milwaukee. L. Y'all have the Thunder 2-7 at that point. Detroit at Detroit. Yep. Me too. I did the same thing. Keith? Okay. Milwaukee at home. Then Detroit. Let me see. Toronto at home. Yep, they're not bad, but yep, me too. I got the same thing. The Knicks at New York. Okay. Boston at Boston. That was quick. Y'all didn't even think about that. Washington at Washington.
How many games they play Washington this year?
Twice, I believe.
I'm giving a win.
Okay, win. Keith, win. Okay, y'all both have a 5-10 at this point. Let me see. Memphis at Memphis. Versus Knicks at home.
They play the Knicks twice.
Yeah, playing the Knicks at home this time.
I get. Did I give him a loss last time? I'm a, wait,
They were at New York. You gave them a loss.
okay, I give him a win this time.
Let me see. Nuggets. Well, y'all get those games quick. Chicago home.
Oh, loss.
Yeah, but we played them really well. We played them really. We played them really, and we should have beat them twice. We should have beat them here last year. Should have beat them here. At Houston.
At Houston.
Yep.
You know what?
That's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him a loss.
You giving them a loss?
No, I'm gonna give him a win.
Okay. New Orleans at New Orleans versus San Antonio at home. Then we got Minnesota at Minnesota. Then Atlanta at Atlanta. Y'all on point with each other, aren't you? Memphis at home. I mean, at Memphis. Cleveland at Cleveland. Man, you guys just not even giving them a chance in some of these games. Dallas at Dallas. Chris?
Loss as well.
At versus Miami at home. Man, you guys are just beating them up over here. Minnesota at home.
I'm gonna get. Okay, they play Minnesota 4 times.
Yeah, it's Minnesota.
They're not getting, but I'll give them a win.
Keith? Let me see. Versus Memphis at home. Portland at home. Let me see. Portland at home. Portland at home again. New Orleans at home.
Are we to the midway point yet?
Yeah, we're past midway. No, we're almost at December. Okay, San Antonio, home. Charlotte, at Charlotte.
Oh, Bridges ain't there.
Okay, Sixers on the road, or at home. I'm sorry.
I don't care where it is.
You say you don't care where it is. Okay, now here's the back half of the schedule. After January 3rd, remember we play Philly at home. That's what we're talking about on New Year's Eve.
So what do you have before? What do we have right now?
Okay, right now, you guys are at 18 and let me see, 5, 10, 15, 23. Y'all are at Keith, you're at 17 to 24 at this point.
You said 17 to 23?
Yep. You're at 18 to 23. Y'all have one difference on wins. Keith is at 17, 24. And I was at 14 and 22. That can't be right. That's 13. I'm sorry. 13, and you have 12, Keith. Okay, there we go. That's better. You have 12, and you have 13, Chris. He has 12. All right, now on the backside, you got Boston versus Boston. Orlando at Orlando. LW, win. Keith, win. Washington at home. Dallas home. God dang, we usually beat Dallas at home. Miami at Miami. Philly at Philly. Chicago at Chicago. Brooklyn at Brooklyn.
Hey, you still there?
I don't know. We're just going by what we know as it is as stands.
Right now, hey, you still there?
Yeah, I mean, we got to go by what we know, the teams that they got right now. Indiana at home.
Man, Indiana got some players, man. I gotta give some wins. I'll give them a win.
Well, right now you're at 16 wins. Keith, you're at 14. Uh, Let me see. Where am I? At Sacramento. At Denver. At Atlanta. Cleveland. Excuse me. Atlanta here, and they killed. Trey just kills us every time they show up here. Yeah, Cleveland here. Golden State. Y'all crack me up with that. Houston back to back. At Houston first, and then Houston home.
They're gonna split. Both young teams, they gonna split.
Golden State. So y'all are at the Lakers yards at L. Portland at Portland.
I gave them a win at home. I'm gonna give them a loss.
You getting a loss on the road? Pelicans at home. We play good at home, guys. You're not giving us a good enough deal at home. Houston at home. Then we have last part of the schedule, Utah at Utah.
I think Utah gonna be trash. I'm gonna give them a win.
Phoenix at Phoenix. Sacramento home. Sacramento home, back-to-back games.
Win. Maybe both.
Keith, I'm going to give him both. Lakers loss. Utah back-to-back games.
Is it splitting?
They're at home.
Both of them?
Yep.
I'll say splitting.
Golden State loss. Phoenix. New Orleans. At New Orleans. San Antonio at San Antonio.
They played 3 times this year.
4 times.
4 times. I'm gonna get San Antonio to win.
You give okay, Thunder loss. Keith, Thunder loss. Brooklyn. Toronto at Toronto. Phoenix home. Now y'all just don't even let it get out good. Y'all, y'all crack me up with that loss. God dang. Clippers at the Clippers back to back.
They losing both of them.
Man, y'all, I think we'll get Clippers. Then the Lakers. They go Clippers, Clippers, Lakers.
Loss. 3 in a row.
At Portland.
After 3 in a row, they gotta get one win.
Charlotte at home.
Win.
Y'all popping up. Detroit home. Indiana at Indiana.
Lost, because I gave him a win here.
Phoenix.
Lost. No matter what planet.
That's at the end of the year. It's only 4 games left. Golden State, third game, only 3 games left.
They might be going straight.
That's what I'm saying. They may be Phoenix, Golden State, and Memphis. None of them really care. They're going to be stuck where they're at that point. What do you think?
Yeah. I'll give him those wins.
All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you the same way, Keith? Okay, so 12, 15, 22. Dang, 27. Keith, you have them at 28 wins, and you have them at, let me see, 7. You have them at 30 wins. Keith, you have them at 28. Chris, you have them at 30. Yep.
Yeah, but see, when by that, you give a little throwaway games in there. So, that 33, 34.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, I have them at 30. I have them at 31. You have them at 30. Chris, you have them at 29. So 28. I mean, that's kind of 25 and a half was the win total. And I think you're going to slide in to get some games that they may play better than what everybody thinks it is. So that being said, I appreciate you guys. I thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. We're coming to you from Cutting Up Barbershop, and we may or may not be back tomorrow. Today is starting my vacation, so I'm not sure how full I'm going to get tonight. I'm just being real here because, if I'm hungover, I ain't going to do the show. Just saying. I may not be awake, or I may not be in town. I don't know. But anyway, if I am, I'm done. I'll be back up. We'll be back up here tomorrow for our Fabulous Fridays that we always do, so we can do our stupidest statement of the week, even though Chris and Keith both believe that Sean's stupidest statement is that the 49ers would lose 3 straight games, and that would be against the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Chargers. Chiefs at home, Chargers on the road, and the Rams on the road and the Chargers at home. So they think that's where Sean thinks they're going to win 3. Those two don't believe that's going to be happening. I think that's going to be hard to do as well, so we shall see. That being said, everybody peace out.